Pakistan is finally going to get some respite with aid to pull up its crumbling economy. The International Monetary Fund has approved an agreement to revive a massive loan program amid the recent incessant rainfall and devastating floods that have marred the South Asian nation. The Washington-based crisis lender will release $1.17 billion to the country immediately, bringing the total amount of aid to about $6.5 billion. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif took to social media to confirm the development, calling it a step towards bringing the economy back on track. The country's finance minister also followed the Premier's lead. In addition to the loan tranche approved, the IMF has also agreed to extend the package through June 2023, a request raised by Islamabad to the organisation. The IMF Deputy Managing Director said, and I quote, "Pakistan's economy has been buffeted by adverse external conditions and domestic challenges." She further added that steadfast implementation of corrective policies and reform remain essential to regain stability in the country. The IMF director laid emphasis on containing current spending and mobilizing tax revenue, while calling the recent rise in interest rates a necessary step to rein in inflation. The government reached an agreement with the IMF staff last month to restart the suspended aid package. That followed months of deeply unpopular belt-tightening moves by the Shehbaz Sharif government. The original $6 billion bailout package was signed by former Prime Minister Imran Khan in 2019. However, his government reneged on agreed reform on subsidies and failed to significantly improve tax collection. Pakistan's latest budget has earmarked $18.8 billion just to service the country's whopping debt of $128 billion, a move that has been welcomed by the IMF chief. Under the deal, Pakistan has agreed for steadfast implementation of the budget to reduce the need to borrow. It will also continue the power sector reform, tighten monetary policy to tackle inflation and strengthen governance, combat corruption and improve the social security net. Pakistan is desperate for international support for its economy. The country is reeling under poor revenue collection and dwindling foreign reserves. The new government has slashed a raft of subsidies to meet the demands of global financial institutions that included the recent spikes in prices of fuel, cumulatively totaling 50%, and raised the cost of electricity to effectively end the subsidies introduced by the previous regime. And for more details, joining us now is our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik. He joins us now from Islamabad. Anas, the IMF has approved an agreement to revive a massive loan program for Pakistan as it battles floods. Will this be enough for the embattled nation?
Clearly, that would not be enough, but that would certainly act as a breather or as a relief for the Pakistani government that is currently battling two fronts. First is the economic front, and the second is of course, the flood crisis that has emerged over the time. Earlier, Pakistan needed roughly about $8 to $9 billion for its bailout and to revive its economy, but the floods have wreaked havoc, and it has increased the amount of money that Pakistan needs to get back on its foot or to revive its economy and to serve its people as well. So at this point of time, this money that has been released, it was being hinted that this would be at about $1.2 billion, but the IMF went over and above, and they released $1.7 billion, another $500 million extra. That is something that would be looked at as a sigh of relief by the market, by the economic market. And we'd see that perhaps with the approval of the IMF tranche or the IMF loan, we'd probably see some stability and the PKR to dollar ratio being appreciated as well. We've seen that the Pakistani rupee has taken had taken an all-time low or a dip over the time, but it is hinted or rather speculated that following the approval of this tranche, things can just get better for the Pakistani economy, Priyanka.
Right, Anas, just talking about the floods, we've heard the climate change minister call these floods a crisis of unimaginable proportions. How's the situation on ground as of now?
Well, as we speak, more than 1,300 people have been killed as a result of these floods all over the country. 1/3 of the country is literally underwater. That's what Shehbaz Rahman, the climate change minister, was quoted as by the AFP, the news agency, saying yesterday. So that goes on to show the extent of the damage or the calamity that is there. Then we've seen that the political leadership has been undertaking visits. Yesterday, Imran Khan held a majorly online telethon as well. Remember, he was banned to be broadcasted live on mainstream television. But that ban was lifted last night or yesterday evening by the intervention of the Islamabad High Court. It's been temporarily lifted, but in a majorly online streamed telethon, Imran Khan raised about 5 billion Pakistani rupees. There have been pledges rather for about 5 billion Pakistani rupees. So the situation on ground actually remains grim because the authorities assess damages worth over about 100 billion Pakistani rupees, and that goes, as I said, the damage is severe. 1/3 of the country is literally underwater. So this will take a lot of time to get back to normalcy, A, B, to shift people back to where they were, and to get things back on track as to how it was pre these floods, pre-June 2022, Priyanka.
Right, Anas. Thank you so much for all those updates, and thanks for joining us on WION World is One at this hour. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.